Welcome back to my channel, Running in Rehab. My name is Brett. Today we are going to talk about the three main muscle groups that you should focus on to become a better, more efficient runner. Over my 5 years of marathon training, I've been able to go from a 3:15 marathon time to a 2:34 marathon time. There are a few different things that elevated me as a runner. Running more was one of them. My diet, sleep, and nutrition was another. And strength training is a very big one that we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about the three main muscle groups. I've come up with the top three main muscle groups that I've focused on to elevate my running, to allow me to run with less pain, less injury. For my strength training, I've also implemented the knowledge and experience that I've learned in my 3 years of physical therapy school and from working in the field since 2020, about 5 years, over 5 years. So these aren't in any specific order, but let's hop right into the three main muscle groups that you should focus on to see elevation in your running. The first one is going to be strengthening your first line of defense, that is your foot. Strengthening specifically the intrinsic muscles of your foot. Just meaning all of the small little muscles that are within your foot are likely weaker than they could be due to the shoes that we wear, the sedentary lifestyle of sitting, but mostly due to the shoes that we wear and not being in bare feet as much as we could be to get our feet stronger. You will notice that when you get your feet stronger, you're more explosive during running. Your feet are stronger, they're able to push through the road or the surface in which you're running and lengthen your stride. Provide you more of an explosive stride. When your feet are strong, like we said, it's your first line of defense. It's the first thing that hits the ground when you're running, right? Think about tires on a car, right? Your feet are your foundation. They allow for absorption of shock. So when you're hitting the road or the surface in which you're running, the strength and stability of your foot allows joints above your foot to adapt and maybe not feel quite as much discomfort or impact because of the strength of the foot. It's able to stabilize the bones within the foot and up the chain. When you have a strong, stable foot, it allows for stability at your ankle. And secondarily, up the chain to your knee. It allows more stability at your knee and your hip and your low back. So strengthen your foot and see your running elevate. Next, again, these are in no order, but let's go to the glutes. Most people's glutes are weak. Might be due to a lack of training them, maybe due to a sedentary lifestyle. Like how I'm sitting right now. My glutes are in a lengthened position, so they're on stretch. When you're sitting, your glutes are on stretch. And a lot of us, due to our glutes being overstretched, a lot of us, as a compensatory mechanism, use our hamstrings to extend our hips more than we use our glutes. The problem with that is that we don't get as much stability of our hip and our lumbar spine when we are overutilizing our hamstrings and underutilizing our glutes. And your glute max is a big muscle. And your glute max is going to help stabilize your pelvis. And when you can stabilize your pelvis and your hip, That's going to allow for, again, a lot more explosiveness, a stronger, longer stride length, because you're explosively pushing off with a strong foot, and then now you have strong glutes stabilizing your hip. And when you're more stable, you're more explosive and less pain. Strengthen your glutes and watch how much more explosive your stride length can get. Lastly, but not leastly, core strengthening. Core meaning your abdominals, low back extensors, obliques. Strengthen your entire core area, as this is where the center of your mass lies. And when you stabilize, there's a term in physical therapy and sports science, and it goes something to the effect of proximal stability allows for distal ability. If you stabilize something proximally, so let's say the wrist is proximal to the fingers, if we stabilize here, right, we can be more athletic here. If there's no stability here, it's not very strong, it's not very explosive. So think about your core the same way, right? If we can stabilize your core, you're going to be much more, right? You got to stabilize proximally to allow for athleticism and explosiveness. Stabilize and strengthen your core, and watch your athleticism and your explosiveness in running go up. So to wrap up, those are the three main muscle groups. If you just target those three main muscle groups, your foot intrinsic musculature, this can be done by walking barefoot, using correct toes to keep your feet in proper alignment for balance and stability, walking in bare feet, slowly getting into more barefoot shoes to walk and run in. This has to be a gradual process, or else if you do too much too soon, your feet may not be ready for that kind of load. Most of the shoes that we wear today, they have some sort of a elevated heel, and that puts our Achilles in a shortened position, so it doesn't have to work too hard, and the foot intrinsics don't have to work too hard, and we're able to walk. The problem with that is that our foot intrinsic muscles can get weak, so we need to slowly work down the drop, right down, progressively down to that zero drop. Again, if we do too much too soon, you're going to run into Achilles problems, plantar fasciitis, ankle issues. So don't do too much too soon. It should be a gradual process, gradually building the strength in your foot and your ankle to take on a barefoot running shoe. Not to be ran in every run. There should be a rotation of shoes, some zero drop, some, with a little bit of a rise is okay, and a little bit of stack is okay. Make it a gradual process. Rotate your running shoes for specific runs, and I can get into that in a different video. Next, strengthen your glutes. Make sure your glutes are strong to assist your hamstrings, so your hamstrings aren't overworking, as well as to stabilize your pelvis and your hips, and allow for a more explosive stride length and pain-free running. And strengthen your core. If we can develop a stronger core as runners, it's gonna allow a lot more athletic ability for us as runners. So I hope you found this video interesting and helpful. Leave your comments down below on what you find is your main muscle groups that you've been strengthening, because everybody has different limitations and weaknesses that they need to address individually. But this is a good place to start with these three muscle groups So let me know how it's going for you, and let me know how I can help, excuse me, help further in the future. But take care, and thanks for watching.